All right, let's talk about two words that honestly cause a lot of fear and just plain confusion. HIV and AIDS. Log sunte ही panic कर जाते हैं. But what's the real story behind them? Let's break it all down. बिल्कुल simple तरीके से.
You've probably heard people use these words interchangeably, right? Like they're the exact same thing, but spoiler alert, वो बिल्कुल same नहीं है. And you know what? This is probably one of the biggest misunderstandings out there. Getting this right is step one. So what is the actual difference?
So first things first, let's get the absolute basics down. Once you get this, everything else will just click into place. ये समझ गए, तो सब समझ जाओगे.
Okay, so here's the main deal. HIV is the virus. ये है actual villain. It stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus. AIDS, on the other hand, is the condition. It's the advanced stage, a syndrome that can develop if HIV isn't treated. A good way to think about it is this. HIV is the spark, and AIDS is the potential fire that can break out way later. A cause है, दूसरा उसका effect. Simple as that.
So you might be wondering, how does this microscopic virus manage to bring down our body's entire defense system? Well, it's actually a really smart, super targeted attack. चलो देखते हैं.
So HIV isn't just any old virus, it's a special type called a retrovirus. Now, the key thing to remember is that its genetic material is RNA, not DNA like ours. And it carries this special tool, an enzyme called reverse transcriptase, which lets it rewrite its RNA code into DNA inside our own cells. Basically, ये एक hacker की तरह है जो आपके computer का source code ही बदल दे. It's pretty sneaky.
Now, to understand the attack, you've got to know your defense team. Your immune system's MVPs are these cells called helper T cells. Just think of them as the security guards of your body. They're always on patrol, identifying threats, and basically calling the shots for your entire defense system.
So when HIV gets into your system, it doesn't immediately go for the head's security guards. Nope. Its first stop is a different type of cell called a macrophage. यहाँ से शुरू होती है इसकी sneaky takeover की कहानी.
Once it's inside that macrophage, HIV pulls off a complete hijacking. It uses that hacker tool we talked about, reverse transcriptase, to jam its own genetic code into the cell's DNA. And just like that, the poor macrophage is forced to stop doing its job and becomes a non-stop HIV factory, churning out millions of new copies of the virus.
Now, with this brand new army produced by the factory, the virus finally attacks its main target, our T-cell security guards. As more and more T-cells get destroyed, your body's ability to fight off any kind of infection gets weaker and weaker. Basically, आपका security system down हो जाता है.
Okay, listen up, because this next part is incredibly important. We know how the virus works on the inside, but how does it even get there in the first place? इसके बारे में इतनी गलत information है, it's just wild. So let's separate the solid facts from the fiction.
The virus can only spread through very specific body fluids, and really only in four main ways. Through sexual contact with someone who is infected, through a transfusion of contaminated blood, by sharing infected needles, and from an infected mother to her child. That's it. These are the only ways. All right, you ready? Time for some rapid-fire myth-busting. Can you get HIV from a handshake? Absolutely not. Nahi milta.
Can you get it from a hug? No way, that's just not how this virus works.
And can you get it from sharing food or a drink or a book? Not a chance. ये सब myths हैं. It is not, and I repeat, not spread by any kind of casual, everyday contact.
And the big one, what about mosquitoes? Nope, not happening. मच्छर annoying हो सकता है, HIV delivery boy नहीं. The virus literally can't survive inside a mosquito. End of story.
So, we've covered the science and we've busted the myths. But what happens if someone does get infected? What are the symptoms? And more importantly, what can we actually do about it?
As the number of T cells drops, the body's defenses get weaker. This can lead to things like recurring fever, diarrhea, and weight loss. Basically, the person becomes really vulnerable to all sorts of infections that a healthy immune system would just laugh off. And here's a key piece of information: this can take a very long time. Symptoms might not even show up for 5 to 10 years after the initial infection.
And this is where the entire story changes. Because while there's no complete cure yet, we have an incredibly powerful treatment called antiretroviral therapy, or ART. These drugs are an absolute game changer. They work by stopping the virus from making copies of itself, which allows the immune system to recover and get strong again.
So here is the bottom line. And if you remember one thing, please let it be this. With ART, someone living with HIV can lead a long, healthy, and totally normal life.
An HIV diagnosis is not the end of life. It's the signal to start treatment. It has become a manageable condition, not a death sentence. That's a huge deal.
Now, while treatment is an absolute lifesaver, prevention is and always will be the best strategy. So how do we protect ourselves and the people around us? Smart banna hai, careless nahi.
Really, it all boils down to making responsible and informed choices. Things like practicing safe sex, making sure any blood for a transfusion is properly screened, never sharing needles, and getting regular health checkups. These are pretty simple steps, but they provide a powerful, powerful shield.
Phew, okay. We have covered a lot of ground. So let's do a super quick revision of the most important points just to make sure they're locked in.
All right, here are the 5 key things you've got to remember. Number 1, HIV is a retrovirus, and its main target is our immune system's T cells. Number 2, AIDS is the advanced stage that can happen if HIV goes untreated. 3, it spreads through specific body fluids, not casual contact. 4, ART is the amazing treatment that keeps the virus under control. And finally, number 5, prevention is your absolute best shield.
So what's the real final takeaway here? Well, the biggest fight isn't just a medical one, it's a social one. The real danger isn't the person with the virus, it's the ignorance that surrounds it. So, awareness spread kro, mitsnai, respect people, fear ignorance. Know the facts, be safe, and most importantly, be kind.